It was a simple question. It was one of those kind of questions where you ask somebody who knows about the subject matter, and they go, yes, yes, boom. She asked me the question. I said, why it is, and my mind went blank for a moment. And I said, well, why it is, and then there was a pause, and I go, I don't know. And I sat there and I said to myself, I said, man, that was stupid. How did you not know that answer? Well, I get back home, and I dump the audio on my computer. And I'm listening back to that portion of the bedroom. Of course, we caught a lot of EVPs, I want to kill you. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, because this house was wicked. And I get to the master bedroom, and I hear my two other investigators walking around with one guy's carrying a K2 meter, things like that. And I hear her ask me the question. And I hear myself saying why it is, and then there's that blank, that pause. And right before I say, I don't know, you hear a male go, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those kind of things where, and nobody else heard it because nobody responds. You hear the other two guys just going through, milling around. They're still talking to each other. You know, she doesn't say anything either, so she doesn't respond to me hearing any of this. And I was sitting there going, I don't remember hearing that on the audio. And we always walk around with earbuds plugged into the recorder so I can hear what's being said while it's recording. It's real-time EVPs. I don't remember hearing it, but I heard it in my head, and I said it. So they have the ability to manipulate what I need to say for them, as well as tell me things that you probably won't catch on a recorder.
Wow.
Yeah, another quick example, we were doing a hotel in Monterey, Tennessee, and we're on the third floor, and I was up there with my wife, and I had, a device going, and I said, I've got this song in my head. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Remember that song years ago? One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. It was that song just popped in my head. And I'm like, so is there any one of you in here or something? And I said, because I got this song stuck in my head. It came out of nowhere. And then we played out the audio. And I'm a big guy, so I'm like a bear. So I play back the audio, and I hear myself say, this song is stuck in my head. And I said, is there only one of you in here right now? And then literally one of the spirits talks to the other spirit every now and then. You're talking to one of the other ones. They go, hey, he gets it, the big guy.
Oh, my God.
So it was this kind of, it does get a little unnerving. Clairaudience gets a little unnerving because, with any ability you have, it is kind of like an open door to them. Because if you have the ability to hear, see, or feel, or sense, you become a magnet. That's why mediums have a hard time sleeping. As kids, mediums have, you go into a house, like I have a client now, we've had to do both homes that she's lived in because she moved. We actually did her first home, cleansed it, blessed it, blocked it. No problem at all. She moved, all kinds of problems come up again. So we had to go out there and bless and block and, and all of that as well. And it's just, people have that problem. If you have the ability to hear, see, or feel paranormal activity, you're going to be inundated. It's just one form or fashion or another. And there's no real definitive marker about what you got. There's closeness you could get to one particular label over another. Like I also get psychic ability. I have the ability to have things just pop in my head. And they belong to somebody right in front of me. Who's Billy? How can Billy? Who's Billy? Wow. And I lay right in front of me. Go, that's my husband. I said, do you just die of a heart attack? Well, yeah, and it just comes out of nowhere. And it's a blessing and a curse all at the same time. I mean, it helps you do what you do in our business, but it's really involved in your life. So is that kind of what your friend's going through?
Well, I have to say she's always been fascinated with the paranormal, and she's a very metaphysical person as it is. She does a lot of chakra therapy, and she's a massage therapist. I noticed she has abilities, and once she got a taste of paranormal investigating with me, she was like, I want to learn more. I could hear, when we were on the Hornet, we were in the infirmary room. Right. For me, I had my issues and situation going on in the Vauxhall in the front of the ship. Hers was in the infirmary, And once we got in there, she was just, it hit her so hard. She said, oh, my gosh, there's so many of them coming at me, and I can hear things, and I can hear this, and I'm going, girl, you've got the ability. What are you doing? You need to start investigating. I mean, she has the ability.
And I don't want to scare anybody when I say this, so please understand, just trying to bring clarity to some people. When you watch the shows and you want to learn more, and you go to tours and you go on ghost hunts with friends, and you're opening yourself up. And when you open yourself up, the metaphysical finds a way in. I've had so many people in the past that I've had to teach them how to block themselves from being, basically hit up on by the dead people. There's a cadence and a way to block yourself from being visited at night. It helps me a ton. I mean, I've gained so much more sleep being able to block out the dead now, because I was barely sleeping. Somebody waking me up, I'd hear a kid laughing in my ear, hear somebody whisper at me, and it just happens so much that, and again, more exposure you have in the paranormal, the more enhanced your abilities become, but you got to be prepared for that.
You do. You really do. And I don't know about you, Richard, and I can't speak for other investigators, but I know a lot of investigators who don't protect themselves before they go in. When I go in, and I'm actually a novice investigator. I'm more of a paranormal researcher than an investigator. I do a lot of residential more than big places, but you always have to kind of, whether it's with sage or wearing a tourmaline stone around your neck for protection, you have to protect yourself. And a lot of investigators don't.
They don't. And it's going to sound really preachy, and I don't mean to be preachy here. It's not a Christian network.
Preach away. Preach away.
Here's the thing. Before we even do anything, we like tomorrow night I'm going to be in Dalton, Georgia, the Dalton Depot. They're going to be doing an event where I'm the guest investigator, and in Dalton, Georgia, at the depot, they're going to be having dinner, and then class, a one-on-one class on ghost hunting, and then I'm going to be giving, and then they're also going to be doing a ghost hunt afterwards. And I make it a standard before I do any investigation, even shows. We're going to do a prayer protection before we go in. And I've only had one person in my entire career ever say to me, "Why?"
Are you kidding?
You know what? No, hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I get it.
Yeah.
Here's a gig, and this is exactly what I told them. I said, look, you don't have to participate. You can walk on down the street, take a smoke. I don't care what you do. I said, but let me explain to you why, since you asked. He said, yeah. I said, okay. This building has got, physical manipulation. They have the ability to jump you if you have any abilities. People have been scratched in this building. Audible, disembodied voices in here. They love to be able to make physical contact with you. So I said, at the end of the day, I would rather go into a building like this with God than without him.
Exactly.
So you can, you can choose, and you step right in line and join the prayer. But the thing of it is, it's tough on me because it's a double-edged sword. If I go into I can go into a regular residential case blocked, but if I try to go into a show filming blocked or a public event where I'm the guy that's supposed to be bringing the ghost to the table, if I go into those kind of events blocked, we're going to get squat because I'm not open. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I can get to a point where I can feel myself being overwhelmed, and I'll have to say, all right, I need to cut out of here for a minute. I need to step away and separate myself from the activity, which I always recommend to people anyway. Your body is the best ghost research tool there ever is. If you're in a building and you feel absolutely uncomfortable, get out. Separate yourself from the activity. So it's hard because, you should go in blocked. You should go in, get yourself sage before you go in or sage when you get out. Wear tourmaline, whatever helps you. Because honestly, a lot of this too, not a lot of it, about half of it, has a lot to do with your belief system.
True.
If you're a Catholic and you believe in St. Christopher and St. Michael, that they're going to protect you, your subconscious as well as as anything else.
That key
so it's
word,
really,
subconscious. You just said
exactly.
the key word, the subconscious. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the reason why people go, well, I tried to sleep the other night, and I was just about to sleep, and I felt this person touch my arm. Well, you have to understand is that when you go into that twilight sleep just before you go under REM, you're the most vulnerable. Your subconscious is the most vulnerable to contact because your gate's down. Your gate is down, and your pathway is wide open. Your gate is down. And if you've not blocked yourself before you try to go to sleep, they're going to parade in and out and drive you insane. So you've got to really protect yourself. And it bothers me a little bit in some places because there are some locations that I brought novices in and didn't prepare them. My team has done public tours. We've probably done about 110, 105 public tours. We just invite every year, at least one time a year, we invite the public out, to investigate with us, 4-hour, 8-hour investigation, whatever. And, we bring them out, we teach them how to investigate. One person on my team, we get a couple of the teams to be able to volunteer their staff. They'll have anywhere from 2 to 3 people for every 10 guests, and they'll be, handled. But, they're not going to babysit you, but we're not going to let you get crazy. We're not going to let you get in trouble. If we feel that, you're being overwhelmed or you got to get out or something is coming at you, we'll have one of those 2 or 3 people snatch you up, take you out of the building. I've had to do that probably 12 times in the last 40 or 35 investigations. We've had to have people pulled out of the building. My wife's had to do it. I've had to do it. My team members have had to do it. Some people just are not prepared. And this is all fun. This can be a lot of fun, but there's dangers involved.
Absolutely.
That people have to be aware of. I always tell people, if you're a novice, find a team that's experienced and try to go out with them once. If you can't go out with an experienced team, go out with an experienced tour. Gain some knowledge from that. I mean, our team mentors 5 other teams.
Wow.
They call upon us for information, training. We're in the middle of an investigation. I'll get a phone call, hey, Rich, look, we're in the middle of an investigation. We just had this happen. What's your opinion? I've had it happen in the middle of an investigation. People call me in the middle of their own investigation. But we work together in para-unity, and that's kind of the team has actually got a funny name. It's called the Paranormal Mafia.
I like it.
I think it's got a nice
so
my family's from New York, too. It's appropriate.
Yeah. So it fits, But I've got a team that covers East Tennessee, another one that covers Northwest Georgia, one that covers Middle Tennessee, one covers Alabama, us, So there's a lot involved in that. I've got one that handles, all the way in upstate New York. So, we all work together. We all try to bring some information to each other, and we all help each other out. I can't reach a case because it's in East Tennessee. I'll hook up with this team and send that team to the case. So it allows us to be able to have a better reach for the clients, but I can trust every single member of those teams that they're going to do the right thing.
It's important. I actually have a question for you, and it's one that I don't believe it should be done. That's just my personal opinion. But I know a lot of investigators, and I'm not going to mention names, but that take souvenirs from the places they're investigating.
Gosh,
whether it's a rock or a leaf or a this or a that, and I've had this and I'm a novice. I'm very metaphysical. I'm an astrologer, and I'm very metaphysical, and I've said this to people before. Even myself being a novice, I know better. I would never take anything off the land, the property at all. Okay. I can tell by your voice.
God, no. Please, God, no. Nobody ever take anything from any location. It's funny you bring up because I have a neighbor. This neighborhood I'm in is very old part of southern Tennessee, and, dates back to the land developed well before the Civil War. That's how old the property is. And this neighbor of mine he said, once in a while, Rich, He said, people will toss a rock with a note on it saying, I'm sorry.